Oh, what's the matter, buddy? Out of gas? I think there's a petrol station nearby. Now look, I think it's safe to say that there's not a huge amount of surprises to be had here. He is more or less Ironworks, but he is different enough, and I'm excited to have a Decepticon base builder, so I thought we'd have a quick look at old Greasepit. He does come with a couple of new accessories to form new accents on his new transformation and alt mode, so that's nice, but for me, with these figures, what really sells it is if they give us a new head. The buy-in is so much harder for me when that's the exact same head sculpt, even if it's a new hand and a new shoulder. The head sculpt to me is where they get so much of their individuality from that I just think it's a shame, right? Like, seeing as they, don't come with the Micromaster for which the playsets are sort of named for, would it have been a big deal to give them a head sculpt that reflected that original Micromaster partner? I don't think so. It's funny, to me, this color scheme seems much more Autobody than Decepticon. That might just be because he reminds me a lot of when Soundwave and Blaster killed each other and then they both got to come back with different color schemes. He looks like that sort of blue and yellow version. Pew! While we've got Greasepit here in robot mode, let's go ahead and get a look at Ironworks as well. It is a pretty good example of different paint apps bringing attention to different elements of the sculpt. One thing I'm vibing on is that this is molded in blue plastic rather than being painted like on Ironworks. Anyone who saw my Ironworks videos knows on my particular copy, the paint applications were too thick and heavy for it to actually get into that sort of watchtower mode, which was, not the end of the world, but you'd like it if it could do the things that it's meant to do. What that does mean though, is when we start looking at, base modes, I'm hoping that Greasepit will be able to get into that formation properly. In lieu of the hook, Greasepit comes with, little Petrol Bowser. Same gun. I like to put it in this configuration because I imagine, being a petrol station, Greasepit, I assume that this whole arm is configured just to be a badass flamethrower. I guess with them being on opposing factions, you could get a little bit of the Trax and Needlenose brothers on opposing sides with differing ideologies and philosophies thing going on. So the differences in robot mode, which are largely just cosmetic, become much more functional as we get into his vehicle mode. So let's electric slide Ironworks out of the way and get to breaking Greasepit down into his component pieces. It's a pretty quick and simple affair. So up until this point, he's pretty much exactly the same as Ironworks. It's from here that things get a little bit different. Let's go ahead and get this ramp and put it on over here. Then we're going to take this arm, take off that piece, straighten the whole thing out. Now this arm, instead of forming the crane like it does on Ironworks, we're going to go ahead and plug it in the side on Greasepit. Right, that's already a little bit different. We can see we've got the windows here. I guess they're meant to look like automatic doors on a servo. We're gonna go and get that awesome sign piece, which looks exactly the same as it did on the actual G1 figure, and plug that in up here. Lastly, we're gonna get a little Bowser piece. We've actually got some notches here. Let's slide that in. Interestingly, Ironworks has the same notches in his mold, so this must have been pre-planned. I think that is a bit cute, but to really show off a petrol station in style and get the full effect, you need customers, right? And when I was looking at this vehicle, when I was looking at this alt mode initially, I was like, why would a Decepticon turn into a petrol station and the Autobot version turn into a Hook's scrapyard melting rig thing? And then I thought, you know what? It must be because he's a bit of a honeypot. I'm assuming he lurks in wait, appealing to Autobots with his flashy advertising. And then once, you're up and in, you get Venus flytrapped. So now that we finally have a Decepticon base builder in the ranks, I thought this could be a good chance to take things up a notch. And, a lot of the time on a special occasion, people will pop a bottle of champagne. But I'm thinking, as a little special bonus review, why don't we bust out Trip Up and Daddy-O, right? If there's a couple of greasers more likely to get tricked into visiting Greasepit? I don't know who they are. Now these are a couple of mean machines, eh? You know it means business when you have flame decals. Yeah. Let's go ahead and have a quick look at them in their vehicle modes, because that will be more fun for the play. Right, lucky these don't take very long. Right on. Tiny Batman could get down in that. Clip, clip, peg, peg. It's a shame that doesn't want to sit flush, but a very cool car nonetheless. Fill her up, old man. Let's see how this next mode shakes out. And then there's this mode, which is certainly nothing. Oh god. Oh god. Okay, I got it. No, I got it. I'm fine. No, I got it. Let me hang on. Just straighten up. No, I can do it. I can do it. Just let me straighten up, and I can do it. Just stop talking. Stop talking, and I'll be able to do it. If you just shut up, I can do it fine. We have this mode, which, I don't know, maybe it's like a garage slash lookout tower? I don't know. I think that the petrol station mode is definitely the strongest of the three. I think we've lost him. We're not going to be losing anyone if we don't get some fuel soon. There's meant to be an energon hub somewhere around here. This must be it. Whoa. I can't get loose.
Well done, Greasepit. I'll see you well rewarded for this.
You know, we really should be turning these guys over to Megatron. I could get in a lot of trouble for something like this.
High risk, high reward. And be careful, Greasepit. That almost sounded like a threat.
What did the snake do to that Micromaster?
Slither Fang is capable of administering all manner of cyber venoms.
What are you gonna do with them?
He can even upload a cyber toxin capable of erasing several cycles from a bot's memory banks.
What's the point of erasing the mind of these Micromasters?
I can't imagine that I would, but to cover the tracks of my benefactor, it's quite useful indeed.
Benefactor? Hey, wait a second, what's up with those auto badges?
I only have room for one of you. Readings show you to be the more powerful. That's bound to fetch me quite a bonus. Slitherfang, it's time to go. Leave it. Just make sure you dose it with enough venom not to remember our encounter. Come on. Send an encrypted broadcast back. The master shall have his feast.
And here's a little bo peep at some of the interconnectivity for you. This is my favorite way to set this up over here. You know, what are they doing? What are these guys up to? Oh, quick refuel. Load up on some energon. And off he goes. I think that's quite a cool little play platform. I find sometimes with these things, it's hard to find a point but I like this. It makes it all feel like there's a point to it. So if you'd expect a Greasepit to be anything other than just another Ironworks, you're probably going to be a little bit disappointed with this figure. But if, like me, you just love the play patterns and possibilities that these toys afford you, then you're probably in for a treat. Look at this crazy king of construction. Eh? What's not to love about that? Double scoop arms!